Well, hello. Did you ever notice that it's really easy to bond with someone over something negative? Did you ever get into an elevator with someone who you don't know and it's just the two of you, so you go, wow, I can't believe it's 90 degrees out. It was just 50 yesterday. Like complaining, though, usually. It's like we're talking about something negative. Did you ever notice that? Because this is a well known fact that people bond over griping about things. This is a very common occurrence. My name is Terri Cole. I'm a licensed psychotherapist. I'm a relationship expert, and I am the founder of the soon coming Boundary Bootcamp, which will be here in September of 2017. So keep your eyeballs open. In the meantime, let's talk about the many, many reasons to stop being a chronic complainer or to stop being around people who chronically complain. Shall we? Yes, we shall. I was thinking about this the other day and I decided that I just was going to do something on it because I find it so annoying to me, but I find it annoying when I do it. I find that when I'm around friends who complain a lot, I suddenly start looking at everything through that negative lens. Like, life is so hard. It's all so hard, And it's like depressing. So let's not, if there's enough reasons to actually be depressed, let's not focus endlessly on them. Let's focus on other things as well, like positive things. Here's the thing with complaining. Complaining, there are actually studies that are out right now that say that complaining is as detrimental to your health as secondhand smoke. Meaning, if you are in an office environment and you work with someone who is very negative, that is as damaging to you, your health, how long you're going to live, right? Because so what happens is when we complain, our brains actually release this stress hormone that actually does damage to the neural connections, right? In the area of your brain that's used for problem solving. So really, if we think about it, complaining is making you stupid or making the person you work with stupid, which you don't want. And the same thing happens to you even if you're just hanging out with someone who's complaining endlessly. So, no, we got to protect our brains as we're not, 20 years old. So how do you do it? First, I want you to get aware of your own tendency. Are you a complainer? Is this a habitual way of connecting with people? Is it your way of being, like, to deal with social anxiety? Or is it just your way of being in the world, is complaining about things? So before we go into what I think you might want to do, just to see if you're doing this, because now we realize it's bad for your health and bad for your brain and bad for the people around you, is the first thing we have to do is we have to establish what is a complaint. So today it was 90 degrees in New York. And if I said, wow, I can't believe it's 90 degrees. I mean, it's only May. It shouldn't be 90, right? That's not a complaint. If I said, I can't believe it's 90 degrees. I hate it. I want to move to Alaska. That is a complaint. So we're sort of making a distinction between what it is. And you can find the middle ground of making an observational comment like, wow, I can't believe it's 90 degrees. There's a distinction between that and actually complaining about what it is you're going to complain about. So the first step that you're going to do is I want you to just do like a 24 to 48 hour little internal survey. So every time I want you to make notes of when you wanted to just complain, just talk shit about something, just say something negative. Write it down. Because here's the thing. If you really observe yourself, you're going to see in black and white. So you're doing sort of like a 48-hour little experiment, and it's actually a fact-gathering mission of what are you doing in the world? How are you being? What are you saying when you go into the deli to get your sandwich or whatever it is? What are you talking about? Are you a chronic complainer? How much? So once you do that, that's going to give you an idea of where you are, like, on the spectrum. The next thing you have to do is, listen, you have to want it to change. So how do we change something? You have to be mindful. You have to use the power of your own intention to basically go on a complaining fast, right? A negativity fast. So I have different ideas and different things that you can do to make it a little bit less hard, right? Just strategies that can make it simply easier. One of them I call end, add something good, right? So that's just it. End, add something good, which is if you say, hey, I can't believe it's 90 degrees out today, and I'm so grateful it's not 110, right? So you can always, what we're trying to do is we're trying to teach, we're creating new neural pathways in your brain, especially if complaining has been a habitual kind of behavior for you. What we want to now create is a new kind of habitual behavior that is less focused on what sucks. Because there are all these studies out, social studies, that tell you that focusing on what sucks, will attract more of what sucks to you. That is true. But it also, it's a vibration. Like you are a downer. And whether people are saying this to your face or not, I promise you, if you're a chronic complainer, they do not like being around you. I promise you, even if they love you. It's so exhausting to be around someone who's always ragging about stuff. And also, I find it very pedestrian, like very common, you know? Like, it doesn't take a brain surgeon to complain about the world. I have an idea. How about shut up and do something about it? How's that for a thought? How about figure out how to add some value instead of just sitting on your couch being like, wow, this is terrible. Yeah. A lot of things are terrible. And there are many, many things that you can do to make them less terrible, right? So you have to listen. This is about being willing to change, right? So another thing that you can do is instead of just complaining, even if you want to complain, is you have to commit to some kind of a problem solving addition to that complaint. So it's not just the and something good is different. This is looking at a complaint instead of just something to say mindlessly, for you to look at it and say, do I really need to do something? Is there a problem to be solved here? Or am I just addicted to complaining? And what would the psychological addiction to complaining be? Well, I find that people who are chronic complainers will always find their way to people who are empathic, because instead of just being like, ugh, shut up, if you're an empath, you're like, oh, we take everyone's feelings very seriously. And, we have compassion. So complaining is a way to get attention. And for some people, they got attention in their young life. They got negative attention. And so it's comfortable for them to complain and have people feel sorry for them or whatever that is, So you don't want to be that person, do you? Don't you want to interact with people based on your merits of your conversation, on something interesting? Like, it's a very low vibration way of interacting with people. And another thing is thinking about all the things that we complain about. There's this thing that I do in my mind. And I just recently also created a video on gratitude, which if you haven't seen it already, please do. It's great. You're going to love it, about the power of gratitude. But when there's something negative, when I find myself feeling negative, sitting in traffic and getting pissed off, even though I rarely do that now. I've worked on it for so many years. But if I do, I find a way of, my mother will still say, yeah, these are high class problems, Ter, right? These are first world problems if you live in a first world country. There are many, many, many worse things that could be happening to you. And I'm not belittling your feeling. I'm talking more about complaining about stuff that is just a part of life and how you bring other people down around you. I could be in a car with someone, with 4 people, and if one person is obsessing about the traffic that we're sitting in, no one is having a good time. Everyone's uncomfortable and being like, well, maybe we can find another route. But like, be in acceptance of what is, right? Of what is real right now. If you are sitting in traffic, that is real. And being in acceptance of whatever is real is the only way that you can find a proper solution to anything. So if you are complaining about your weight, can't seem to lose the weight, you have to be in acceptance of exactly where you are right now, this beautiful bod that is yours, your God pod. And then from that place of acceptance, you can decide what you will change, what problem-solving mode you will get into to change what is making you unhappy about the weight. So, complaining is just this pointless, negative, irritating habit. And I feel like for most people, it is just a learned behavior that you can unlearn. And you have to want to unlearn. So, I'm giving you a guide associated with this little video, so don't worry. You can just hit the link, and all of my little suggestions of how to get out of that habitual pattern will be right there. Because here's the thing, you guys. You want people to want to be around you? I do. So know that if the people in your life, if people are avoiding you, maybe it's because you complain all the time. Maybe it's because you're gossiping in the office about other people. And you know that. There's a really famous saying that, oh crap, I don't even know if it's Eleanor Roosevelt or somebody. I want to think of it. I know one of you guys watching will know it, but it's about, great minds talk about this, mediocre minds talk about this, and small minds talk about other people, right? I think it was Eleanor Roosevelt. Anyway, if I could think of it, I'll put it in the blog that will go along with this video, because you don't want to have a small mind. There's so many better things to do than this. And it also doesn't feel good to you. So I hope you liked this video. If you are a lady and you've not joined my group, please do. Go to terricole.com/RLR. I have a podcast where I talk about all these types of things, but you can't see me, but some people like podcasts better. So it's go to iTunes or wherever you get your podcast programming from. And the name of it is Hello Freedom with Terri Cole. I really, really appreciate you, speaking of not complaining and being in gratitude, you guys spending time with me. I love that you're such seekers and that you're wanting to live your best lives. So just know I'm acknowledging you and I really appreciate you. I really do. Drop any question you got right here and I will answer it myself. So I hope you have an amazing week filled with positivity. And hey, I want you to do that little exercise and see how much you've been complaining. And as always, my friends, take care of you.